The concept of totality, that you don't treat a disease, that you help reestablish balances in the body, that you help restore the immune system, that you help to get the immune system and the enzyme system, the mineral balances and everything in the body going again. And when that happens, the body heals itself. And it's not a matter of drugging. You know, as you know, a lot of people, when they have arthritis, doctors start with 20 aspirins a day. Well, arthritis is not disease caused by aspirin deficiency. So how can that cure it? Well, of course it doesn't. It can suppress the problems and the pain and the swelling for a while, but it doesn't heal. Therefore, if you want to heal, you've got to understand the underlying problem, other than what is supplied in your normal food, in your normal vegetables. Of course, nowadays you have kids and all kinds of people that don't eat any vegetables. That's another problem. Then they eat meat and salt and eat heavy fats. Then you get a report like we had only about 5 weeks ago in the Los Angeles area. They tested children, 4th and 5th graders, and they found that these kids have high cholesterol levels. Is it a wonder? What do they live on? Hamburgers, frankfurters, french fries, ice cream, loaded with fats, not a mineral, not an enzyme, not a vitamin in the bunch. How can these kids function? When the patients are so ill, when they are in such bad shape, they need this input of fresh live substances all the time, every hour. And even more important perhaps, when you put these nutrients and the live substances into the body, these go right back into the cell systems. Now the cells release the toxins that have accumulated over a lifetime of wrong eating, of drugs and chemicals and absorption of toxic substances from the soil, from the food chemicals, from the insecticides, pesticides, from the pollution in the air and the water, you name it. Even if you eat fairly decent food, if you eat supermarket food, you can't help but get chemicals. And as Norman Fritz puts it, you can't help but get starved and poisoned. Starved because the nutrients are lacking in the foods that are not organically grown, poisoned because they're sprayed and have toxic residue. Even if you eat vegetables, it's not good enough. And we want to help you and teach you how to do this, to get well and stay well. All right, so meat is not the answer. So where's the answer? The answer is in the fresh, live, organically grown, free from poison, vegetables, nutrients. But when a patient is very severely depleted, has advanced cancer, is in pain, you're not going to start feeding him vegetables. Dr. Gerson felt you have to very intensively restore these patients. You can't do it with just 3 meals. What did he develop? He developed juices. Now, the Gerson therapy was developed in such a way that the patients get a fresh glass of juice, 8-ounce glass of juice every hour, plus 3 full vegetarian meals. Now, in order to make a glass of juice, it takes at least 1.25 pounds, something like that, of carrots and apples or the various greens. Remember, the carotene in there builds up the immune system. The fresh greens, you have the folic acid, you have the iron, you have also beta-carotene. You build up the blood, the immune system. You build up the body's defenses. And if you give a patient a glass of juice every hour, they can drink it. Can't eat all the food that goes into it. If you put together all the food that is made into the 13 juices, plus the 3 meals, plus the fruit plate we give each patient in their room every day, that's roughly 20 pounds of food a day. Now, no sick patient can eat that, but you can drink the juice and eat the vegetarian meals. And that way you can vastly multiply your intake. The human body has enormously powerful defenses against disease, but specifically against cancer, because it's a killer. The body has the immune system, the enzyme system, the hormone system, the mineral balances. It has the essential organs, all of which together form the body's defenses. If you feed your children good, organic, vegetarian food and not canned and jarred and pickled and preserved and salted and chemically treated, they're good, healthy, normal, functioning kids. They don't get hyperactive, they don't get irritable, they don't get destructive. Please, you are in charge of your own health. And as we likely do and say, you dig your own grave with your teeth. Learn to not do that. With the right nutrients, vitamins, minerals, enzymes, and they control the building by getting the correct nutrients into your essential organ systems, your hormone system, your mineral balances, your immune system, and everything that all goes together to build a good, strong, healthy body, good, strong, healthy cells, and what we are talking about all together here, a good, strong, healthy defense system, a healing mechanism, as Dr. Gerson called it, the healing mechanism. We need to build it and keep it accurate and correct. And we can do that. And it isn't meat. And it isn't eggs and cheese and milk. When you learn of the better way, when you learn that you need vegetarian food, salt-free food, as much as possible animal proteins eliminated from your food, and living and live and organic. When you use those foods, the weaknesses don't come up. You overwhelm the weaknesses with your activated immune system. Not only that, but now the doctors are telling you, yes, but the organic food is expensive. You know what? Like somebody said, if you factor in your drugs, your doctors, and your hospital admissions, and it gets to be very much more expensive. Never mind that, but it's true. I canceled my health insurance when I was 34 years old. Besides, nowadays, I think you know better than I know how much you pay for medical insurance. I don't know, it's something like in the high hundreds or thousands a month. It's terribly expensive. And on top of it, you know, you still pay partly, and you see the doctors, and you're sick, and you save. You know how much I saved since I was 34 years old? Let's say an average of $1,500 a year, much less then, much more now. I saved thousands of dollars. And I feel good, I'm healthy, and I haven't been in hospitals, I haven't missed work. It's different. But the doctors try to scare you. The doctors tell you, oh, the organic food is more. Yes, it is more expensive, but it's cheaper than going into a restaurant. And it's much cheaper than buying steaks and shrimps and lobsters and all that. You're eating vegetables. Potatoes aren't that expensive, and nice, great big heads of lettuce, okay? And then I cut in other greens, and I cut in little tomato, little apple, little everything I can think of, the more the better. And I eat a nice big raw bowl of salad at least twice a day. So I'm healthy. I never go in a restaurant. So there are two basic problems. And cancer and other chronic degenerative diseases. Very simply put, toxicity and deficiency. You're toxic from the food, from the soil, from the air, from the water, fluoride, from the artificial fertilizer in the fields, that the animals die and our bees die, the bees that are responsible to fertilize the plants and to give us food. And we're killing them with drugs and chemicals. Well, what are we doing? We're killing ourselves, our food. You can't do that. Okay? The public is anxious for this information. And I'm trying to give you the learning and the understanding so that you know what it takes to eat the right food, restore your body, help it to the best of health, not just to get there, but to stay there. Because that's what I'm doing. And you know, believe me, at 91, I fight every day for my life and my health. I fight every day. I have to drive going and returning 38 miles to get to the organic health food store where I buy all my food. But I do that, and I fix my food because I don't take anything out of a can, a jar, a pickle, a preserve, a bottle, or anything which is salted and dyed and changed. Everything with chemical stuff that's not good for us. Please, do me a favor. Every person who recovers, every person who gets well because of my message, helps me to carry on. I'm happy to be able to do that. It makes my life worthwhile. I'm happy to save lives. It doesn't take much money. I don't go out to restaurants. I don't drink alcohol. I don't drink, I make fresh juice. I have a juice machine. Okay, it's expensive to buy. But once you have it, you got it for life. And it's good for your life and your children's lives and your grandchildren's lives. And you'll be surprised how young children love the food. They like the apple carrot juice. And then I cut in other greens, and I cut in little tomato, little apple, little everything I can think of, the more the better. And I eat a nice big raw bowl of salad at least twice a day. So I'm healthy. I never go in a restaurant. When your body is highly toxic, especially also with candida, the supplements don't go into the cell systems. You can stick them in your mouth. They go right through you. They won't do you any good. We've seen that in patients. So until and unless you can metabolize the supplements, they don't do you any good. But the beauty is that you can always metabolize the fresh juices. They don't have to, depend on, they are not foreign substances. They are live, fresh, active nutrients. Okay, and if you then detoxify, then you can get it into your system. Well, what if your body doesn't absorb nutrients? Well, why isn't it? Then you have to get to the underlying problem. That's very simple. There's only two possibilities, toxicity and deficiency. Now, toxicity, toxins are enzyme inhibitors. The only way you can't absorb nutrients is, first of all, if you take them in the wrong form or shape, if you take canned, jarred, pickled, preserved foods, and if you take fresh, live substances, and you don't metabolize them, then you don't have the enzymes to do it. Enzymes are only blocked by toxins. So if your body is toxic, same as in this situation, you're not going to metabolize. You need the enzyme function, and it won't happen until you get the toxins out of your system. You cannot heal by detoxifying alone. Just like I was talking about, if you buy a swampy piece of land, and you got all the fluid, the water, and all the dirt and the junk out. Now you have a nice piece of land, you still don't have a house. Detoxifying does not rebuild. Detoxifying is only half of the equation. Unless you rebuild with the right nutrients, with intensive nutrition, with the proper juices, with the right food, free of poisons, without salt, without meat, you're not going to rebuild a thing. because detoxifying is very nice, but it's not enough. Now, the liver is an organ that's fully restorable. You can cut off a piece and it'll regrow. There's no other organ in the body that will do that. The lung tissue, what's dead is dead. What's diseased can be restored. Okay, the same goes for the kidneys, for instance. What's dead is gone. Okay? So it depends a little bit. If you dare very intensively, not just detoxify, it's not enough. If you intensively rebuild, you can restore much of the diseased lung tissue. You can improve your circulation because you get rid of the atherosclerosis and all the cholesterol gets dissolved out of your system so that you improve what lung tissue you have works better because your circulation is better and your arteries are improved. But enemas alone won't do the job. It's half a job. Dr. Gerson felt you have to very intensively restore these patients. You can't do it with just 3 meals. What did he develop? He developed juices. Now, the Gerson therapy was developed in such a way that the patients get a fresh glass of juice, 8-ounce glass of juice every hour, plus 3 full vegetarian meals. Now, in order to make a glass of juice, it takes at least 1.25 pounds, something like that, of carrots and apples or the various greens. Remember, the carotene in there builds up the immune system. The fresh greens, you have the folic acid, you have the iron, you have also beta-carotene. You build up the blood, the immune system. You build up the body's defenses. And if you give a patient a glass of juice every hour, they can drink it. They can't eat all the food that goes into it. If you put together all the food that is made into the 13 juices, plus the 3 meals, plus the fruit plate we give each patient in their room every day, that's roughly 20 pounds of food a day. Now, no sick patient can eat that. But you can drink the juice and eat the vegetarian meals. And that way you can vastly multiply your intake.